as Gary said, welcome everyone. We're very happy to see such a great crowd here. My role is to introduce a scholar, a gentleman, and the U.S. Congressman. I want to tell you a little bit about Jim Sensenbrenner. He was first elected to Congress in 1978, and he previously served in the State Assembly and the State Senate. During his time in Congress, he served as chairman of the House Committee on Science, Space, and Technology, and chairman of the House Committee on the Judiciary. He currently serves on both committees. As chairman of the Subcommittee on Crime, Terrorism, and Homeland Security. Jim's many legislative achievements include authoring the U.S. Patriot Act, the Real ID Act, and an extension of the Voting Rights Act. He also served as floor manager in the impeachment trial of President Bill Clinton. No, I did not wear a blue dress. Jim's recent legislative accomplishments include authoring the USA Freedom Act, ending the mass collection of phone and computer data on U.S. citizens by the National Security Administration, and he received from the Citizens Against Government Waste a 96% taxpayer hero ranking, which is the 5th highest in the House of Representatives. So I'm done. Without further ado, please join me in welcoming Congressman.
Thank you very much. My job here is to introduce a man who doesn't need any introduction, our governor. But I would like to ask each and every one of you to think about what people were thinking about the direction Wisconsin was taking 4 years ago after 8 years of Jim Doyle. People were pretty much down in the dumps about the future of our state. The last Marquette University Law School poll showed that 54% of the people think that Wisconsin is going in the right direction, and I believe only 39% think that Wisconsin is going in the wrong direction. That is because of the efforts of this man, our governor, Scott Walker. Now, Jefferson County has been kind of a swing county. And one of the things that we as Republicans, us as candidates, and all of you as volunteers are going to have to do is to make the connection between a Walker candidacy in November and the fact that a huge percentage of people now think that our state is going in the right direction. That is a challenge to bridge a gap of people who might not like the word Republican or even the words Walker or Sensenbrenner, but it is one that we can do, and it is one that I think is really the key to victory. So it is now my pleasure to introduce our governor, the man who has brought Wisconsin's attitudes around, and now it is time to make 4 more years of people thinking that Wisconsin is moving in the right direction. Scott Walker.
Thanks not just for the introduction, Jim, but Jim Sensenbrenner, as was mentioned in the introduction, is really one of the stalwarts, not just for Wisconsin, but for the country in terms of being a protector of the taxpayers' money. Let's give him a big round of applause. Introduced and talk a little bit later, but I want to thank all the lawmakers here because it's really part of the team. The Wisconsin comeback didn't happen by one person, didn't just happen through our election. It happened when Republicans regained control of the Assembly and the Senate. So to all of our lawmakers here, thank you. Let's give them a round. And while you're at it, we got to make sure that we have, for all the gains that we've made, we don't take a giant step backwards. Not only is it important to elect me and Rebecca Clayfish and to return Republicans to the Assembly and Senate, we got to make sure Brad Schimel is the Attorney General going forward. So it's great to be back in Jefferson County. Many of you know I grew up just down the way in Walworth County. I went to Delvin High School, so I remember playing in Jefferson and Fort Atkinson and places all throughout here in the old Southern Lakes Conference. It's great to be back nearby where home is for me and has been throughout all my time growing up down there. But I'm excited not only to be here in Jefferson County, but to go around the state telling the story. Because in this state, we're experiencing a comeback. There's a Wisconsin comeback happening, and people across the nation are taking note of that. We need to make sure that everyone in this state understands that the comeback didn't happen by accident. It happened because of clear policy. Think about this. Wisconsin comeback. We've added more than 100,000 new jobs.
Nice job, Scott.
We've added not only 100,000 new jobs, but 23,000 new businesses since we took office. The unemployment rate is at a 5.5-year low. Wisconsin's number one in the Midwest for personal income growth from last year to the beginning of this year.
Nice job,
Think about
Scott.
all those trends out there. There's a tremendous turnaround happening. Wisconsin's got to come back, and it's not just that. Property taxes. Remember property taxes used to be going up? Property taxes went up 27% in the decade before we took office. Property taxes this December will be lower in December of 2014 than they were 4 years ago in December of 2010. How about that for a turnaround?
Yeah.
If you like our household, not only do we care about property taxes, we've got 2 kids in college, so I'm particularly pleased that we froze tuition 2 years in a row. You look at issue after issue, school scores are up. Third grade reading scores are up. 4 years of graduation rates going up. ACT scores are some of the best in the country. You look on issue after issue after issue, Wisconsin's on a comeback. Now it's interesting because our opponent, Mary Burke, if you watch her ads, she seems to be criticizing Wisconsin's comeback. I don't know about all of you, but I want a governor who's going to celebrate and lead the comeback, not criticize it. How about you? What do you think?
Yeah.
Now, there might be a reason why she's doing that, though. I was thinking about it. It makes some sense to me. Why would Mary Burke be criticizing the Wisconsin comeback? Well, it's because she doesn't want people to remember that she was handpicked by Jim Doyle to be a part of his cabinet. She was handpicked by Jim Doyle to be the Secretary of Commerce. The chief jobs are why? Because she supported his policies entirely. That's not me saying it. She said it right to the paper. She supported Jim Doyle's policies entirely. I don't know about all of you, but it seems 4 years ago seems like a long, long time ago after all the elections we had in the state. But it's important to remember that 4 years ago, we had lost 133,000 jobs. We had lost 27,000 businesses. We were ranked as the 41st worst state in the country for business. We had just 10% of our employers in the state thought we were heading in the right direction. We were inheriting a $3.6 billion budget deficit. Property taxes were going through the roof. Tuition was going up every year. I don't know about all of you, but I think the people of the state, if they stop and think about it, realize we don't want to go back to the Doyle days of billion-dollar budget deficits, double-digit tax increases, and record job loss. We want to go the opposite direction. We don't want to go backwards. We want to go forward. The last thing we need is a third term of Jim Doyle's policies. We put that back. We took that over 4 years ago. We moved the state in the right direction. We don't want to go backwards. Where do we want to go? We want to go forward.
Yeah.
We got a great message. As Jim said, we've got a great message to share with the people of the state. It's a real simple message. Do you want to go forward or backward? Do you want to continue the comeback that has been in place, the Wisconsin comeback that has put people back to work, that has increased personal income, that has lowered taxes, put more money back in your pockets, helped families grow in the state, helped our farmers, helped our seniors, helped our veterans, all the great folks in the state? Or do we want to go backwards to those days when Jim Doyle was in charge and the state was headed in a much different direction? I think the people of the state want to go forward. But that's not enough for us just to talk about it at a headquarters like this. This is great showing, great opportunity. You know, we've got 21 other offices like this open around the state. This will be the 22nd spot that we've got where we're proclaiming our preparations for victory.
Nice
But
job,
we need
Scott.
people to go from this office out onto the streets.
Yeah.
We need people to come into this office and help sign up for phone calls and going door to door and putting up signs and putting up 4x8s and all the other things out there, because that's really what's going to make the difference. When you think about our record, when you think about this Wisconsin comeback, the legislature's been a part of, that Rebecca Clayfish and I have been proud to be a part of going forward, it didn't happen by accident, and it's not going to continue without your help. This is a tough state. You know, you think about the record, and most people would say that should warrant a heavy re-election, right? When you look at all the things we've done on taxes, on jobs, and the economy, and personal income, and UW tuition, and all the other things we talked about, in any other time in our state's history, and just about any other state in the country, that would warrant a major re-election. And yet here we sit in poll after poll that shows statistically we're tied. We're tied or within a point or two. Why? It's a tough state. Last time a Republican won for president in this state was when I was still going to high school down the way in Delaware, 30 years ago, 1984. This is a state that was about as close as you could be in the 2000 and 2004 election. An average of less than 1 vote per ward in the state was the difference between Bush and Gore and Bush and Kerry. This is a tough, tough state to win statewide, because as much as the votes are good in places like Jefferson and Walworth County, they get eaten up over in Madison. And so if you don't want your vote to be canceled out by someone in Madison, you need to step up and help us out. And it's great to put up signs, it's great to be at Republican events, but the one thing I'm going to ask everybody here to do today, and many of you have helped, not just recently, helped us in 2010, and again in 2012, when we didn't expect we'd be on the ballot again, help us out again. But we're going to need your help even more this time. You know, nationally, the AFL-CIO, the big government union bosses, earlier this year, voted to transfer $300 million. $300 million from money they normally spend on congressional races into 5 states. They're taking on governors in 5 states: Florida, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania. Guess who's number 1? Wisconsin. And why? Why are they doing it? It's simple. What we did over the last 3.5 years was something that challenges them. Something that took on the big government special interest and said, you know what, you're not in charge anymore. At the state and the local level, we're taking the power away from the big government special interest, and we're putting it firmly in the hands of the hardworking taxpayers. They didn't like that. They don't like it even more now. And the last thing they want is a governor who got elected and then elected again under recall to be re-elected in this state, because if it can happen in this state, it can happen anywhere in America. If we want to take America back and put it back firmly in the hands of the taxpayers, it starts and ends right here in the state of Wisconsin, right? Wow. What I would ask of you all here today, because you wouldn't be here today if you weren't active and involved, is I want to thank you. I want to thank you for your support on behalf of Tonette and I, on behalf of Matt and Alex and our family, because that's really for us what it's all about. You know, people ask, why'd you get in the race 4.5 years ago? I said it was really at that time because I looked at this state and thought about growing up just down the way in Walworth County, and I saw a state that wasn't heading the direction where my sons would grow up in a Wisconsin that was at least as great as the Wisconsin I grew up in. And that was unacceptable. That's just unacceptable. And so we made the sacrifice to run. Little did we know how much sacrifice we made after we got in office. But it was worth it all the way, because today I'm proud to tell you that after 4 years, because of the reforms that we, the lawmakers here, and I helped put in place, I'm proud to say that for Matt and Alex and every other son and daughter like them, every other grandson and granddaughter and those yet to be born in this state, they will grow up in a Wisconsin better than the Wisconsin we grew up in. We want to continue that going forward. We need your help on the doors. We need your help on the phones. We need your help with the signs. The one thing everybody here can do and can recruit today, not only yourself, but at least one more person to do, and hopefully one more each of the next couple days between now and the election, is recruit a person to be a community captain on your block. Say, I don't have the time to do my whole community or to do my whole neighborhood. We need one person on every block in every city, town, and village in this state. No matter how big, no matter how small, we need one person. We haven't done it separately. Sometimes statewide campaigns in the past, here and elsewhere, they go out and they set up their own organization. Our organization is the party. We have designated the Republican Party of Wisconsin and each of the branches within each of the counties across the state to be our grassroots organization. We put our money there. We put our resources behind that. We haven't set up a separate organization. What we've said is we need to have a victory that's not hollow. We need to make sure that I and Rebecca, that Brad, that the Assembly, that the Senate, the members of Congress all win collectively. And the best way to do that is to have an organized effort through the team here in the party. But to do that, to be effective, we need people who literally reach out neighbor to neighbor, block to block. And so everyone here can find someone on your block, whether it's you or someone in your family, and help us recruit others. You would say, oh, that's just a sign-up list. That's just a sign-up to get names. No, this is really important. You think about 2 years ago, people nationally talked all about the Obama campaign and how they used electronic media. We have all that. I'm on Facebook and Twitter. You probably saw our Ice Bucket Challenge the other day. If you follow us on Twitter and all that, it's still cold. Like, you are too, you did that as well. It's still pretty cold. But we do all that. We've got 4 times more money spent in our digital campaign than we did even 2 years ago. All that's important. But the one thing the national media didn't pick up on is the real reason the president won. The real reason the president won wasn't the electronic media itself. What he did was he used all that electronic media and all the digital technology to recruit and inform volunteers who literally went out and talked to their neighbors. Who went out and talked to their neighbors. Because think about it, in the end, what has a bigger influence? If I said, hey, you know what, in town there's a great new restaurant, Tonette and I just went to it, and you should go try it out because it's really good for breakfast. My guess is a lot of you here, if you're done, would go say, hey, what was that restaurant you were talking about? I want to try that out. Or we were just about a week and a half ago, Tonette and I were at State Fair. She actually went every day to the State Fair, believe it or not. I went 7 days. But I can't tell you over the years, we love going to the State Fair, how many times Tonette's come home for something from the Expo Center. I said, what the heck is that? And she says, well, a friend of mine told me that this new Ouija's perfect. So she picked it up at the fair. Well, think about it. If in our own lives, we'll go to a restaurant that a friend mentions, or we'll go buy something that a friend mentions, why are we selling ourselves short when it comes to voters? You have a sphere of influence. The people that live on your block, the people that go to church with you, the people that work with you, the people in your circle of friends, you can have an impact on them that transcends any political commercial, any direct mail flyer, anything else out there. Grassroots will make the difference. This is going to be an extremely close election. We need each and every vote. We can't afford, if somebody says, I'm with you. Well, make sure that when they say they're with us, that they show up on November 4th to vote. Because even if you got 9 out of 10 people on your block that are with us, if only 6 of them show up to vote, that means 3 votes just got eaten up by Madison, and they went the opposite direction from what they believe here in Jefferson County and around the state. So we need your help. We need your support. We need you to sign up. Thank you for being here today. Again, not so much on my behalf, although I appreciate it, but on behalf of Matt and Alex and all those other sons and daughters and grandsons and granddaughters and those yet to be born like them who will benefit because of the work we're doing between now and November 4th. God bless you. Thanks.